Charlamagne Tha God never holds back, and this time, he had something to say that left the entire Breakfast Club studio in absolute chaos. It all started when Jess Hilarious, now a guest host on the show, made a comment that clearly didn't sit well with him. What followed was one of the most heated moments in recent Breakfast Club history, leaving fans wondering if their dynamic would ever be the same again. The tension had been building for a while. Jess, known for her bold and unfiltered takes, had been making waves as a temporary co-host. Some loved her energy, while others felt she was overstepping. But on this particular morning, things reached a boiling point. The conversation started casually, with discussions about the latest hip-hop controversies. But as soon as the topic shifted to Charlamagne's past interviews and the way he handled certain guests, everything changed. Jess, feeling confident, threw a subtle jab. Sometimes it feels like you let certain people slide, but when it's someone you don't rock with, you go extra hard. The room got quiet. Charlamagne leaned back in his chair, a smirk creeping onto his face. Everyone knew that look. It was the calm before the storm. "You saying I don't keep the same energy?" Charlamagne asked, locking eyes with Jess. She shrugged, not backing down. "I mean, yeah, kinda." That was it. Charlamagne, never one to take criticism lightly, unleashed. "See, this the problem. Y'all come up here acting like you know how this works, but you don't. I ask the tough questions when they need to be asked. I call out the nonsense when I see it. What I won't do is be performative just to please the internet." Jess tried to interject, but Charlamagne wasn't finished. "You sitting in this chair right now because Angela you left, and guess what? It's a different game when you in the seat. You gotta learn how to balance the energy, not just say whatever you think is gonna go viral." The studio fell silent. DJ Envy glanced between them, trying to gauge whether he needed to step in. Jess, clearly taken aback, pursed her lips, processing what had just happened. Meanwhile, across the internet, another unexpected drama was unfolding. Iggy Azalea had had enough of Kanye West's antics, and this time, she was making sure the world knew it. Kanye had been on one of his infamous rants again, taking shots at various people, including artists who had nothing to do with his latest meltdown. Among them was Iggy, who he referred to in a dismissive way, claiming that artists like her didn't belong in hip-hop. That was the last straw. Iggy, never one to stay silent, took to social media with a response that had fans losing their minds. Kanye out here acting like he's the gatekeeper of hip-hop, when he's the same guy who ran to pop music whenever it suited him. You got bigger problems to deal with, my guy. The internet erupted. Fans started debating whether Iggy had a point or if she was just trying to insert herself into Kanye's drama. But the truth was, she had spoken a fact that many were too scared to say out loud. Kanye had indeed shifted genres whenever it was convenient, collaborating with pop stars, diving into gospel music, and now acting like he had always been the one true voice of hip-hop. The backlash against Kanye was immediate. Some fans sided with Iggy, saying she had a right to defend herself. Others felt she was just looking for attention. But the most surprising part? Kanye didn't respond. For someone who never hesitated to fire back, his silence was telling. Had Iggy finally said something that even he couldn't argue against? While all this was happening, another revelation had the hip-hop world buzzing. Rapper Ralo, who had been serving time for drug-related charges, had just dropped a bombshell interview, exposing things about the industry that no one saw coming. From the moment Ralo started speaking, it was clear he wasn't holding back. He talked about the way labels manipulate artists, how certain rappers pretend to be street but are actually backed by corporate machines, and even hinted at betrayals he had faced while locked up. But the real shock came when he spoke about the legal system and how some rappers managed to avoid serious consequences while others, like him, had to serve full sentences. "It's not about what you do, it's about who you know," he said. "Some of these guys got caught up in worse situations than me, but they got the right connections. They get a slap on the wrist while we get buried under the prison." His words hit hard. Fans started looking at certain rappers differently, questioning who might have had help behind the scenes. And as the interviews circulated, the industry had no choice but to pay attention. Charlamagne calling out Jess Hilarious, Iggy Azalea checking Kanye West, and Ralo exposing the industry. 3 different stories, but all highlighting the raw truth behind fame, power, and influence in hip-hop. Some people rise, some people fall, and some people fight back against the system that tries to control them. One thing was clear. Hip-hop is never just about music. It's about power plays, ego battles, and the truth that people are sometimes too afraid to say out loud. And for fans watching from the outside, it's moments like these that keep the culture alive.